everyone, I'm glad you're here. I'm Mary with Mary Greeley News. I just updated my photo on my Twitter account. Today is September 2nd, 2023, and it's Saturday. Here's an update on the news. I posted about how Russia TV host accused Tucker Carlson of signing his own death warrant. I really enjoy Tucker Carlson, and he recently posted how the U.S. will probably go to war just to keep Biden in office. This TV host said how Tucker Carlson is one of the most popular news media people here in the United States. The U.S. government isn't going to like that Tucker Carlson is calling out that more than likely, the U.S. will start a war with Russia. Another interesting post that I shared about the money that Biden has sent to Ukraine. It says, do you understand how much money it truly is? If you spent $10 million a day, it would take over 32 years to spend it all. If you counted 120 billion, it would take you 11,400 years. And they give an example of that. Yeah. Much of that money could help the people there in Maui. It could help with our failing infrastructure. Yeah, speaking of failing infrastructure, I found another interesting post. One day, the Cascadia subduction zone will rupture again. Everything west of I-5 would be toast. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this. But there was an article about bridges that run along I-5, Interstate 5, from Oregon to Washington. There is one bridge, a northbound span, that was built in 1914. It was closed for 2 nights, August 19th and the 20th, to allow for electrical work and repairs to the bridge. Yeah, how would that bridge stand up to an earthquake that was built in 1917? In this article, it states that the southbound span, opened in 1958, is scheduled to be closed on the nights of September 9th and the 10th for similar activity. Yeah, gonna make sure they have lights, but what about retrofitting? This is an annual maintenance task, which includes lubricating of bridge cables. The 2 towers, it says, was built also in 1958, and more than 130,000 vehicles crossed the 2 spans on an average weekday. Being the Labor Day weekend, I wonder how many people are crossing it now. Both spans of the current interstate bridge rest on wooden pilings. It says here they did not have the technology to get steel piles down that deep to bedrock. So we have wooden piles that this bridge sits on in silty soil, meaning it's wet. Yeah, I wonder what kind of condition those pilings are. We know that if the Cascadia subduction zone earthquake does hit, those piles are going to move. We don't know what the final results may be, but it's not going to be anything good. So as of now, they may, and it's may, start new construction for new bridges, not until 2025. Another article, FBI investigating immigrants inside the U.S. after smuggling with ISIS ties help them get past the border. Do you trust the government? I don't. They say that there is no indication, and remains no indication, that any of the individuals facilitated by this network have a connection to a foreign terrorist organization or are engaged in plotting a terrorist attack in the United States. Well, there was a fellow a couple months ago in North Dakota that had been planning it, an attack which he facilitated, killing 3 police officers, shooting a bystander. Yeah, and to tell me that there's no indication that they're planning to do some kind of terrorist organization. Look at all the vandalism that's being done to the railroad lines. Yeah. Here is a medical article Doctors in Australia found a 3-inch parasite worm inside a woman's brain, and it was still alive. They think that she picked up this parasite by ingesting greens, leafy plants, that she would go to a habitat for some snakes. And it used to be thought that this worm would only live in the snakes. Well, they found out now that yeah, it can live in people's brains. So the worm's egg was probably on the leafy plants that she harvested, ate it. She complained maybe 3 years ago about diarrhea and stomach problems, and then it developed into her brain, and she complained about depression and other types of symptoms. The doctors initially thought maybe she had brain cancer. And when they did the scan, yeah, they saw this thing. Gross. Now, we know that the governments around the world have been in cahoots working with these aliens or demons, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, getting people prepared for some nefarious activity. Pentagon launches one-stop website for UFO information and reporting. In New York City, you're losing more of your privacy. This Labor Day weekend, they're going to be using drones to monitor backyard parties. Yeah, if you have a barbecue and supposedly if someone complains, they're going to fly a drone over. Probably has facial recognition. I posted, pew, 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 pew. Yeah. Did you hear about the 12-year-old student that, I don't know if he was expelled or threatened with expulsion because he had a backpack with all these different sayings on him, and one of them was, "Don't tread on me." Yeah, the mom took it to the school board or somebody, and he won. And there he's got his giant cake. It says, "Don't tread on me." Good for him. More parents should be teaching their children about their rights. Another post about cleaning stairs in a metro station. I don't know where this is at. But, yeah, it's a lengthy video. It's 1 minute and 11 seconds long. And that's how they wash the stairs there. Yeah. And it goes all the way down. It's an extremely long staircase. In this post, it says, migrant arrested 6 times for 14 crimes in the first 2 months in New York City. Why do they call them migrants? They're an illegal alien here in the United States illegally. Gotta be politically correct, right? The man evidently is from Venezuela. He attacked 3 strangers and 2 police officers. 6 times he was arrested and released back into the public. One of the comments says they're not being vetted properly. I would say so. But don't worry. Yeah, they're not going to do any acts of terrorism. Being attacked by an illegal immigrant is an act of terrorism. This article here originally talked about 10 people that had been brought in. As we know, wildfires are across the world. This one here is in Central Oregon, telling people how to prepare and things they need to know about evacuations and being prepared for evacuations. I'll link to my article on my Patreon account about the emergency antibiotics that I received today. Yeah, I was tickled pink about that. It took less than 2 weeks. They tell you 1 to 2 weeks. I was really worried that it'd be left outside and my neighbor would steal it. More about that when that case of soda was stolen. It was stolen from another neighbor in my same building. It finally was replaced. I have to say, grudgingly replaced. Now they know that my Ring doorbell records anytime there is motion activated, and they left me 3 little messages. I'll share them with you.
Ain't no thief neither.
Made us famous. Thank you. Hope we got a lot of bitches and hoes from that. Skidoo. You take that over, you leave this on. That shit don't really make sense.
And today is Keanu Reeves' birthday. You might want to wish him a happy birthday. I really enjoy his movies. Most of you probably know him from The Matrix. I also found this. This is an image. I don't know where he's at, but let me turn this off. Yeah, I don't know where. But the first thing I noticed was his red shoes. And they posted, "Where's the Secret Service?" Let me make this bigger. There you go. And he goes into this bookstore. Let me hit play. Hold on. I don't know, maybe it was here in the United States. I don't know. But he goes into this bookstore. And he passes a woman with a child. And yeah, I would not feel good about him taking a look at my child as he goes in. There's the man. There's the child. Yeah, he kind of briefly looks out of the corner of his eye. Yeah, so I don't know. The meeting of red shoes. Let's see, and it goes on to say that a group of young professionals with a collective goal to help make a difference in the lives of families with seriously ill children receiving treatment at nearby medical facilities. I could be wrong, but I think nowadays it has a completely different meaning. If I am wrong, please put that down below. Yeah, this evidently was a TikTok video. Former governor of New Mexico, Bill Richardson, has died at the age of 85. I guess he was also a member of the United Nations. He also evidently helped to get people that were kidnapped in other countries returned to the United States. And Captain Jack Sparrow was spotted along the Gulf Coast. Maybe his ship sunk during the last hurricane. Yeah. When I hear about these people dying at such a young age, I really have to wonder. This fella who helped people with prosthetic limbs died at 49. Slyman Ben Sima, sorry about that. You know I'm bad at pronouncing, different words and names. But he helped develop the first robotic prosthetic arm that gave realistic touch feedback. And he was recently working on brain implants. I recently posted how they're using police stations there in Chicago to house the illegal immigrants. Well, evidently they got an area there at O'Hare International Airport where they're housing immigrants also. Sometimes these people are there for 2 weeks before they can find them some kind of housing situation. They're complaining about the food and the fact that there's lack of showers to bathe. And they don't like top ramen being fed to them for meals. It says here, a curtained off portion of the airport has been used for months as a migrant shelter. Advocates worry about the conditions. Well, once they get into the system, do you realize that these illegal migrants get $2,200 a month for each one? That is more than what my Social Security draws. Yeah, they get that money, plus they get medical care, all kinds of stuff that the United States citizens don't have access to. So many are coming in unvetted, creating havoc, creating crime, overcrowding the schools, overcrowding our medical hospitals and clinics and things like that. It makes me mad. Here's an article about some of the migrants which belong to the cartels in Chicago. He was hoping for leniency for his drug and murder crimes. He was associated with the 42 Mexican students that were murdered in 2014 there in Mexico. I think it was him or maybe his brother sometimes worked in Chicago as pizza delivery personnel. He was part of a group called Guerreros Unidos, one of the cartels down there in southern Mexico, that the United States only recently put on the terrorist list. Yeah, he was coming and going, bringing in drugs, probably people as well. Yeah, and he's trading information, hoping that he'll only get 15 years belonging to this group. Like I said, in 2014, they killed 42 students there in southern Mexico. Oh, 43 students. I put an article about that and how the Mexican government is so corrupt. Yeah, all the police are part of the cartel. These illegals can't cross the bridge or the river unless they pay off the cartel. But this is an article about the 43 students that were murdered. Yeah, many of their bodies they never got because they had a lot of people in their network, mayors and governors and probably past presidents that were involved. Even the military. The new president that they got there in Mexico is bringing charges up on 20 soldiers. Yeah. You know, why would anybody go to Mexico and spend U.S. dollars even to get cheaper medication? Because it all goes into the pockets of these cartels, which are killing so many people here in the United States with their drugs. And speaking of war and rumor of wars and illegal immigrants, another article on the New York Post, Chinese illegal immigrant numbers boom under Biden as Beijing tensions grow. I wonder how many of these illegal Chinese are at the airport there in Chicago. Since October 1st of last year, 2022, U.S. Customs and Border Protection reports encountering 39,575 Chinese citizens, a 115% increase from the number encountered in the last full fiscal year under former President Donald Trump. Yeah, that almost 40,000 is the ones that they caught. Think of all the ones that came in that they didn't catch. Yeah, Jimmy Buffett died. That's such sad news. All the people that we grew up with. He came out with the song Margaritaville, which was popular in 1977, a couple years after I graduated. Yeah, rest in peace. I shared on here, A Pirate Looks at 40. That's kind of a cute song about being born during the wrong era, how he wished that he had been born probably in the 15, 16 hundreds, and he would have been a pirate. Yeah, here's one about attacks. The U.S. attacked Syria Arab Army checkpoint, and Russia was not too happy about that, saying they'll let this one mistake slide, but they won't let it slide again. I had heard of another report where they were sending drones in to do attacks there in Syria. And then yesterday, Russia put its nuclear-capable super weapon, the Satan II missile, on combat duty. So, yeah, I'm sure it's been on combat duty, but they just now admitted it. I believe this is the one that can reach the United States within like 15 minutes. It can carry anywhere from 10 to 15 nuclear weapons all at the same time. Remember, Tucker Carlson says the United States is going to start a war with Russia, probably some kind of fake attack, and blame it on Russia, where actually it's going to be the United States that starts it. All because Biden and his administration, there's a lot of talk that it's actually Obama behind the curtain, pulling the strings. Yeah, and they want to stay in power. They want to stay in office. You know, Obama is the only past president, who has ever stayed in Washington after they were no longer in office. He is the only one that has remained ever in Washington. Yeah, makes you wonder. I also posted yesterday about that M1.2 solar flare that was supposed to impact the Earth tonight or early tomorrow. I haven't had a chance to look. to see if there's an update on that. Now, according to spaceweather.com, let's see, it's going to arrive on September 3rd. And currently it's at KP index of 4, was up as 5, so it's probably going to climb later today or tomorrow. That would interfere with, your satellite radio. People flying in airplanes, you'll get an extra dose of radiation. And the astronauts that are on the space station. Going to Space Weather Live for the coronal mass ejection CMEs. Looks like we got another M-class, M3.03. I wonder when that's going to impact us. And I believe this is the other one. M1.2 might have been as high. Let's see, there was a couple of them. M1.5. And then we had one C flare, a C7.4. And this is not even the time for the peak for solar flares. They're saying that the next, the period every 12 years for solar flares actually may end up coming earlier than expected. So there was another post by Ted Cruz talking about how, the health department is now saying that people should only drink 2 beers a week. And frankly, you can kiss my, my butt. Myself, I never enjoyed beer. I don't like it. I'm a coffee drinker. Yeah, I'm probably on my fourth cup of coffee today. Yeah, but they told me I could only have 2 cups of coffee a week. It's like, oh my goodness, stay away from me. And then there's a report about Biden and how he spends so much time at the beach. Newt Gingrich says that he is clearly in cognitive decline. And there he is talking to somebody on Fox News. 2 grizzly bears there in Idaho were trapped and killed. I guess they were captured after months of conflicts and interactions with humans. There was another grizzly bear that was killed when it attacked somebody, I read too. Once being an endangered species, their population has really boomed. And then I thought this was strange. They're removing a CSO telescope from Mauna Kea there. I believe this is on the Big Island. Why would they do that? They're spending as much to dismantle it as what they spent to build this thing. Why in the world would you, take apart a telescope that watches the skies and used for all kinds of different research? And I don't know if they watch for asteroids or not. When they come from the direction of the sun, those ones we don't see, so they could be devastating for the Earth. I read the article, but it did not state why they were removing it. So if any of you know, let me know. Another post about how Tucker Carlson says that they may try to assassinate Trump. Yeah, they probably both have X's on their backs. Yeah, there was a mistake that Biden said recently about how unemployment is at 14%. They keep saying how the economy is doing so good, and here it says, the economy is great. We created 5 million jobs this year. And it says, I have 3 of them, and I still can't pay my rent. Alright, here's the video. It says, Biden brags about the unemployment rate being below 14% for the last 19 months. Do you realize that during the last Great Depression, unemployment was at 23%? So we're about halfway there. And it's going to be far worse because there's more people. People do not have their backyard gardens or their livestock, chickens, pigs, whatever, in their backyards. Most people live in cities now. A lot of people don't even know how to grow a garden or how to take care of livestock. So just on those 2 facts, yeah, the next depression, which I believe is coming, is going to be far worse. Another interesting post, they're at the White House when they have their news briefings and things like that. Evidently they have a figurine. I don't know if it was a bobblehead or what, but it looks like President Trump, and looks like it's been beat up and stomped on. Let me play this for you. This is, yeah, it was interesting too, because you got to see the back of the room where they have their little meetings. Yeah, their little question and answer session. Let me go to the beginning of it there. When they're, yeah, see the podium there and the flag and all that. Yeah, so they got this up on the shelf above where all the equipment is at. Right there. Another article about Galvin Newsom, how he's now changing his mind about green energy because of, yeah, the lack of energy. Can you imagine that they actually have been telling people at times not to plug in their electric cars because of the shortage? Yeah. Yeah, and I guess they're going to do another gun grab, new regulations about buying and selling guns. That was on Red State. And T-Mobile cutting another 100 or 401 jobs at the Bellevue headquarters. Yeah, the economy is not doing good. Just go through this. Des Moines, Iowa. Kids on a football field are having a shootout. You can go to my YouTube page. Oh, another one, a rant about Oprah Winfrey. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Been talking a while. Yeah, how she's asking people now to donate to Maui, and she's worth $2.5 billion. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sorry, it's a little long, but I haven't done a news update in a while. Let you guys know what's going on. Yep, it's the end of the world. Oh, well. You can't cry, you might as well laugh, right? The world has become so wicked and evil. Well, you think about Satan and controlling these people and them following him. Satan hates everything that God created, and that would include Earth. Yeah, he probably would destroy the Earth, and maybe he's hoping to do it with nuclear war with Russia. I don't know. They're all in cahoots. What are your thoughts about some of these stories? Please put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Always be prepared. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.